Hey everyone. It's wild to think about, right? Teaching AI to learn, but what about teaching it to forget? It's a whole different challenge, and that's exactly what we're diving into today, a brand new research paper all about unlearning, specifically when AI is working with both text and images, multimodal.
Ugh.
So how do you make an AI forget something it's both seen and read?
It's tricky, a really fascinating challenge. This paper dives right in and introduces us to CLEAR. It's the first benchmark for testing how good different unlearning methods are in this complex world of multimodal AI.
Clear. Love it. What makes it so special?
Well, imagine trying to study unlearning using data from the real world. It would be messy, unpredictable, right? So CLEAR bypasses that entirely. It uses completely synthetic data. They actually created 200 completely made-up people. Each one has text descriptions, question and answer pairs, and even images.
Hold on. So they basically built a virtual world just to test AI on learning.
Exactly. And they were so meticulous about how they designed it. They used these really advanced models like StyleGN2 to generate realistic faces, then a diffusion model called PhotoMaker V2 to create the scenes. Oh, and they even used GPT-4 to generate the text descriptions and even answer questions about these made-up people.
Wow. It's like they built a whole AI ecosystem just for this research.
Sure.
Okay, let me get this straight. We have this AI model. It's trained on a data set of 200 fictional people. So we know exactly what it's learned.
You got it. And since it's all synthetic, they have total control. They can change the descriptions, manipulate the images, even completely erase people from the data set, all to test how well different unlearning methods are working.
That is brilliant. How do they actually make the AI forget something?
They tested 10 different unlearning methods. Think of them as tools in a toolbox, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. Some try to directly target and suppress the info, the stuff they want to be forgotten, while others retrain the model, but in a way that emphasizes the data it should remember.
Okay, so it's like trying to erase a memory in our own minds. Some methods are like forcefully blocking it out. Others are more about focusing on new memories and just letting the old ones fade.
That's a great analogy. And just like human memory, there are trade-offs. Some methods might be great at forgetting, but they can also cause the AI to lose other valuable knowledge. It's called catastrophic forgetting.
Uh-oh. That sounds bad. How do you even find that balance? Making the AI forget, but also making sure it doesn't lose too much other info.
That's the million-dollar question. And it's exactly what CLEAR helps us explore. By testing these different methods, they can measure how well each one gets that forgetting done, while also seeing how it affects the overall performance.
I'm guessing there's no easy answer, no magic solution.
You're right. No one-size-fits-all solution. What's cool, though, is that CLEAR lets us start to measure this trade-off, quantify it. They develop some really neat metrics to track how well the AI forgets specific things and how much other knowledge it loses along the way. It's giving us the tools to really analyze these unlearning approaches, see their strengths and weaknesses.
I am hooked. Let's dive into some of these unlearning methods and see how they actually work. What are some of the approaches they tried?
All right, let's pick a few to get a sense of the diversity here. One method, called retain fine-tuning, basically focuses on what the AI should remember. It's like retraining it, but focusing on the things we want it to keep hold of. Pretty straightforward approach, but as you can imagine, it can lead to some info getting lost.
So it's like trying to declutter our minds. We focus on the important stuff and hope all the unimportant junk just fades away.
Exactly. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have methods like gradient descent. This one directly targets what we want to unlearn, more aggressive approach. And while it can be really effective, it also has a higher risk of that catastrophic forgetting we talked about.
So it's a trade-off then. Precision versus collateral damage.
Yeah.
Like choosing the right tool for the job. You wouldn't use a sledgehammer to remove a splinter.
Right. Another one they tested is called Scrub. This one's a bit more complex. Okay, imagine you've got a teacher AI. It's already learned everything. Scrub then creates a student model and trains it to specifically disagree with the teacher on the stuff we want to unlearn.
Whoa, so the student is like a contrarian,
Yeah,
but only about the specific things we want the AI to forget. That's clever.
pretty neat, huh? And then there's DPO, direct preference optimization. This one kind of reframes unlearning as a preference thing. Imagine training a dog to, avoid a certain treat. You're shaping its preferences. DPO tries to do something similar with AI. It adjusts the AI's parameters so it develops a preference for forgetting the unwanted information.
Okay, so we've got all these different methods, each with its own way of tackling this problem of making AI unlearn. What were some of the key findings? How well did they work in practice?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting. And that's what we'll dig into next. They didn't just test these methods, they figured out how to measure how well they actually worked. And the results. They have some pretty big implications for the future of AI and especially privacy. So remember how we were talking about measuring how well these unlearning methods actually work? Well, the researchers came up with a really clever metric for this. It's called forget quality.
Forget quality, huh? Sounds pretty straightforward. So it just measures like how much the AI actually forgets.
It's a bit more nuanced than that. Imagine you have two AI models. One is trained on the data we want it to forget, and the other never saw that data at all. Forget quality uses a statistical test to see how similar the unlearned model is to that what we call gold standard model, the one that was never exposed to the info in the first place.
Ah, I see. So it's not just about forgetting the info. It's about how closely the AI resembles one that never learned that information to begin with.
Exactly. It's a much more sophisticated way to figure out how effective the unlearning really is. And what they found is there are some pretty big differences in how these methods performed.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. Which methods worked best? Spill the tea.
Well, look, we talked about before, there's this balancing act. You want good forgetting, but you also want to minimize how much other stuff gets lost. Some methods, like gradient ascent and a few others, were amazing at forgetting, like really high scores on that forget quality metric. But here's the thing, they also caused a lot of that catastrophic forgetting.
Oh no, so it's like they wiped the AI's memory clean but took a bunch of other important stuff with it?
Kind of, yeah. On the other hand, there were methods like IDK tuning, and sorry, you remember those. They were much more gentle on the AI's overall knowledge. They didn't totally ace the forgetting test, but they did a much better job at hanging on to the other information.
So it's that trade-off again. Do we prioritize perfect forgetting, even if it costs the AI some of its smarts? Or do we focus on keeping the AI's overall intelligence, even if it means the forgetting isn't as, well, complete?
You got it. And there's no one right answer. It really depends on what you're using the AI for and the risks involved. For instance, if privacy is the main concern, you might pick the methods that are best at forgetting, even if the AI loses some abilities. But if you're talking about something like medical diagnosis, where keeping all the AI's knowledge is crucial, you might want a more balanced approach.
So it's about picking the right tool for the job and being aware of the potential benefits and risks. And this clear benchmark is giving us a framework to make those decisions in a much smarter, more systematic way, right?
Exactly. And it shows just how much more research we need to do in this area. We need to find even better unlearning methods, ones that can hit that sweet spot between forgetting and remembering, depending on the situation. Imagine being able to control how MUCH the AI forgets. Fine-tune it based on how sensitive the info is and how bad it would be if it was accidentally remembered.
Okay, that's pretty mind-blowing, but I guess it makes sense. This research is just the start, right? There's still so much to discover about AI unlearning.
Oh, absolutely. And here's the exciting part. This goes way beyond just making AI forget things. This could change how we think about AI training, data privacy, even the very nature of intelligence itself.
Whoa, okay, now I'm really interested. How does this research connect to those big ideas about AI and intelligence?
Think about it. Learning and unlearning, they're two sides of the same coin. They're essential for AI intelligence system, whether it's our brains or an AI. When we study unlearning, we're not just learning to make AI forget. We're actually getting insights into how learning and knowledge work at a fundamental level.
So by understanding how to break things down, we're learning more about how they're built up.
Exactly. And that knowledge, it could change the future of AI. Imagine training AI much faster, because we can teach it to unlearn outdated or irrelevant stuff. It would help AI adapt and evolve much more effectively.
Wow, that would be game-changing. But let's stay grounded for a sec. This research was all about multimodal unlearning, right? AI that can process text and images. What about other kinds of data? Could we use these same ideas for things like audio, video, even stuff from sensors?
Great question, and one that the researchers themselves point out as a crucial next step. They think the core ideas of unlearning could work for other data types, but we'll probably need specific techniques for each one.
So basically, there's a whole universe of unlearning out there to explore, each with its own challenges and breakthroughs waiting to be made. It feels like we're just scratching the surface here. This idea of teaching AI to forget has these huge implications for how we interact with technology, you know?
Totally. And one area where this could have a huge impact is data privacy. I mean, think about it. AI is becoming more and more part of our lives. So the question of who controls our data and how it's being used, that's becoming a bigger deal every day.
Right. And it's not just about super sensitive stuff like our bank details or medical records. It's about everything. Our browsing history, what we do on social media, even where we go thanks to GPS tracking.
And unlearning could be a way to address that, What if we could demand that companies make their AI forget our data? It would give us back some control and help deal with some of the ethical issues around all this data collection.
That'd be amazing. But wouldn't that make things tough for the companies and researchers who need all that data to train their AI?
Oh, for sure. It would add some complexity. But I think it's worth it. If we can figure out how to do unlearning reliably, it could make AI development more responsible, more ethical, Companies would have to be careful about what data they collect and how they use it because people could demand to be forgotten.
So it's not just about protecting our own privacy. It's about pushing the AI industry to be more ethical about data.
I love it. Yeah, and it connects to another really interesting aspect of unlearning tackling bias in AI. We already know that AI models can pick up biases from the data they learn from, and that leads to, unfair or discriminatory outcomes.
Oh yeah, we've seen that happen in the real world, like facial recognition systems that have trouble with people of color, or hiring algorithms that are biased against women.
Exactly. Unlearning could help fix that. What if we could pinpoint the specific data or connections that cause these biases and then just unlearn them? We could make AI systems that are actually fair.
Wow, that's powerful stuff. But it also raises some tough questions, doesn't it? Like, who gets to decide what counts as bias in AI? And how do we make sure that unlearning doesn't accidentally create new W biases?
Those are excellent points. Unlearning isn't a simple solution. We have to think carefully about the potential downsides. But I really think it has the potential to improve AI, to help us create systems that aren't just powerful, but also fair, transparent, and accountable.
So it's a powerful tool, but like any powerful tool, we need to use it responsibly.
Exactly. We need more research, more collaboration, and we need to keep talking about the ethical side of all this. This clear research is a big step forward. It gives us a starting point to explore what unlearning can do and what the challenges are.
This has been a truly mind-blowing deep dive into the world of AI unlearning. We've gone from the nitty-gritty details of how these methods work to the big questions about society and ethics. Honestly, I'm amazed at how complex it is to teach AI to forget, and I'm so curious to see what happens next.
Me too. This field is moving fast, and I have a feeling we're just at the beginning of a long, exciting adventure.
And to all of you listening, if you're intrigued by all this, I really encourage you to check out the clear research and join the conversation. This affects everyone, and we need as many voices as possible to help shape the future of AI in a responsible way.
Absolutely. And remember, knowledge is never static. It's not just about learning. It's about what we unlearn and how we adapt our understanding as the world changes.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the incredible world of AI unlearning. Keep those minds curious and engaged in the ever-changing world of AI. Until next time.